So we are back with Total War Rome 2. Today we've got a 3v3 siege battle at the grand city of Athens. But there is a twist. I forced every player to only bring horses to the fight. And okay, I did allow a couple camels. I mean, come on, look at these camels. They're wearing heavy armor. They look adorable. So what I thought was going to be a chaotic, goofy battle actually turns into a strategic, down-to-the-wire fight. Guys, you're in for a treat. So let's look at the factions attending today's battle, starting with the attackers. First, we have the Royal Scythians, and they're bringing their very fancy horses with decorative antlers. They look really cool. Next, we have another steppe faction known as Massageti, and they are bringing more of a heavier horse, bringing the Saka cataphracts. And finally, we've got Parthia, which, you know, they can field some pretty good infantry, but their cav is top-notch, especially their cataphracts. Now, moving over to the opposing side, we have the defenders of Athens, and of course, a very fitting faction, a Greek faction. Macedon is present on the battlefield, and they are bringing their very famous Aspis companion cav. They're tanky sons of guns. Next, we have another steppe faction known as Roxolani, and boys, look out. They've got the mercenary Amazonian riders. I mean, how can you deny a face like that? And last but certainly not least, we have the Armenians, and they are famous for their royal cataphracts and their Azak knights. This is going to be quite the show, guys. Get ready for a crazy fight. Sit back, relax, get some snacks and drinks, and enjoy the show. All right, guys, here we are, start of the battle, and right away, Royal Scythia's moving up some horse archers, either to scout or potentially shoot down the enemy wall artillery. Look at this beautiful scene right here of them just charging forward. And you can see the artillery for the defenders, they're already shooting quite aggressively. And, oh, here comes more cav as well. So this is Massageti, I believe is how it's pronounced. They're sending up some armored horse archers, and they're going to try to shoot the crew. Look, this is going to be tough, though. I mean, you got to shoot through the little openings of the wall, and even then, I don't think they land any hits here. So this is going to be a tough little struggle for them. So really quick, I got to explain a couple more rules that I didn't really state in the intro. So the attackers were allowed, of course, horses, some camels, but they were also allowed 2 units of artillery each player. Now, that's a lot of artillery, but the reason for that is to allow them to create multiple breaches in the wall. Obviously, horses, you know, they can't use ladders, which is, yeah, it's one of the negatives of horses. They can't use ladders, but they have no way of climbing the walls. And now they could burn down the gate with torches, but that's only like one little opening, and the enemy could just, you know, it's just like a choke point. It's easy to hold. So we allowed them to have lots of artillery to create a lot of openings in the walls. Now, for the defenders, they were only allowed 1 artillery for defense, and they were not allowed to sally out except for the horse archers. So the reason for that is because if they sallied out, it would just turn into a pitched battle outside the walls of the city. I want this to be a proper siege battle with horses. So those are the extra rules that I didn't clarify in the beginning, but I think they make sense, right? I think it makes sense here, and I think it turns out pretty nice considering the outcome of this battle. Again, you guys are in for a treat here. It's going to be pretty exciting. Now, right away, 2 walls are already down, so they got 2 breach points there. They've got a 3rd breach point over here. So Parthia has 2 artillery pieces. Now, they didn't have to bring 2 artillery pieces. They were just allowed to. So he brought 2, and he's attacking the flank of the walls. And it's really interesting because the defenders are taking a very passive approach to this defense. They don't have horses right by the wall. There's a lot of space here. There are some units nearby from Roxolani. I always want to put a D at the end of their... I don't know why. Roxolani? No, it's Roxolani. They have some units kind of near the front ready to hold and, I don't know, possibly pin the enemy near the walls. We'll see how that plays out. But they're the only ones near the walls. We've got Royal Scythia. They've got some units on the flank here. Interesting to see what they do there. And Macedon is really holding back. Now, Macedon is an interesting... They're kind of the odd duckling of this battle. They're the only, quote, Western, faction compared to the other factions here. And they don't have, like, steppe horses and cataphracts. They have more of the companion cav, which, even though they're not cataphracts and their horses are, like, decked out in armor, they are very tanky and they can hold a front line pretty well. So they might not get a lot of kills, but they can hold. So they're kind of like the hoplites of this battle. It's going to be interesting to see how they use this Aspis companion cav. And, I think they're just going to plug a lot of gaps and everything. Oh, here we go. Okay, we got a charge of units already. Parthia going in. And we've got Roxolani sending in the Royal Lancers. They also have antlers on their horses. And he's going in kind of alone. And look at this. Parthia is moving in with medium cav. This is a melee cav. And then here comes another charge. We've got more Lancers coming in from from Roxolani against Parthia and their medium cav. Now here's if you're wondering what's the difference between a melee cav and a shock cav, well, the shock cav usually have lances and they do most of their damage in the initial charge. Now the melee cav, they usually have swords or axes and they can hold and prolong combat better than shock cav. And here comes the camels. You know we got to check out the camels. Oh, yes. Camel galore. They're going to charge in. Camel cataphracts against the mercenary Cappadocia. Is a Cappadocian cav from the Armenians. And now we got reinforcements coming in. It looks like Macedon sending in some companion cav. We've got some melee cav coming in from Roxolani coming in. Massageti is charging in as well. So guys, it's getting wild out here. I mean, look at this. Just kind of zoom around here a little bit and show you without the HUD just the pure chaos of this fight. Wait, what is this infantry? Is this they've got the artillery crew? Totally fair, totally legal. They were allowed to bring the crew off the artillery, which is kind of surprising that they used up the ammo so quickly, but I assume they used it on the walls so they could really open up those walls. So yeah, nice little fight, nice little struggle. Definitely at this point, mostly it's Roxolani holding this. Parthia, Massageti, and Royal Scythia, they all have units in the fight right now, and it appears that the defenders are trying to hold just kind of like this front line right here. They're kind of containing the attackers in this corner, and it's going to be important for the attackers to break through this corner and start running through the streets of Athens and using different, flanking paths and whatnot. So they got to try to break through this. And guys, it's a confusing fight. If you're ever lost, use the mini map here. Yellow is the attackers. The red dots are the defenders on this little mini map here. Here comes the Armenians. They're sending in more melee cav. You can see that a lot of melee cav is being sent in for the defenders right out of the start. Now, we do have Parthia. They've got some melee cav as well. The medium cav, they're pretty good, but I feel like they're a bit outmatched against this companion cav. And look, more and more companion cav coming in to fight. And we've got arrows now flying in as well. Here comes Parthia sending reinforcements, but this companion cav is going deep into enemy lines. And let's see, is this more medium cav? Yeah, more medium cav. I don't think the medium cav is as good as the companion cav, so they have a losing fight here unless they get some reinforcements. Let's zoom out of the battle, guys, a little bit. Another thing to help you differentiate between the two sides The attackers have red borders around their flags. The defenders have yellow and blue borders around their flags. So that is something to keep note of. So the Armenians are sending in some reinforcements. Got a depleted unit of cav here. And it does appear that the attackers are going to slowly break through this initial defense from Roxolani. You can see they still have some Royal Lancers putting up a great fight, but it's only a matter of time until they break and the attackers are going to gain control of this region. And look at the reserves here for all the sides here. They still have plenty of fresh cav, fresh horses that have not seen any struggle, any fight yet. And now we've got Parthia kind of falling back here. And this path is open, guys. This path is open. Let's see if they engage. We got Royal Scythia about to clash with Roxolani. And here they go. Royal Horse. And they actually get a good charge off of them because they're stationary. So they should get a little bit of a bonus there. And they should come out on top. The Royal Scythia. The attackers. They should come out on top here. Well, there's actually some archer support coming in. This is the Amazonian Riders. You can hear them yelling. They are letting loose some arrows and throwing some shade, blocking out the sun a little bit, and trying to help out their ally. Here comes another fresh unit from the Royal Scythians. They're bringing in Royal Horse. This is some great units here. They're really trying to push through this flank. Let's go back over to the main fight where it looks like Macedon's not really wanting to give up this little corner position. You can see he's really pushing up his companion cav. And they can do it, guys. I mean, they are a tough cav, but they're not, they're not that tough. You don't want to get reckless with them and get them surrounded. But what they might be doing is trying to pin back with as many units as possible with as few units as possible so they can throw down some arrows and do some damage from afar without inflicting too much friendly fire. Now we have the Armenians. They are holding the Parthians back on this far flank. They're actually engaging horse archers, so armored horse archers. They're disengaging, but the Armenians are not backing up. They're pursuing, guys. They are pursuing, which is a dangerous game because they're getting deep into enemy territory. And this is nuts. This is just pure chaos as we speak. Now the archers, you're really seeing a lot of archer fire coming in from the horse archers. They're moving in to support their melee units as they struggle in the front line. Look at this. Saka cataphracts. Oh, these guys have, look at their weapons. It's like they have pickaxes. Look at this. Could you imagine getting hit by these things? Look at these weapons. Oh man, these axes with the pointed, like the beak on the opposite side. That looks so good, so cool. Great at armor penetration. It can rip through armor like a nail. And now they are surrounding this this horse unit of Roxolani. And it feels like they're starting to control this center now. The attackers are starting to control this center, but there's still a lot of defending units. And the balance of power is pretty dead even right now. We have the attackers making some ground over on this side as well. Actually, no, the defenders are still holding strong, but the defenders are about to break here. They got the Sarmatian. Is that a Sarmatian horse? I think is how you say it. Anyways, they're charging up and they're going to take on the next wave, which is a shock cav. It's a noble lancer cav. Now, they're going to get a good initial charge, but as this fight goes longer and longer, they're not going to perform as well against the melee cav. Oh, look at this, though. Look at this. They've kind of created a gap here. Parthia is using it. They're going to potentially use it to flank, but they're just going to use the archers and just let loose some arrows. Here comes Macedon. Dude, Macedon's crazy. They're charging and get a great charge on these Eastern cataphracts, which is kind of a huge blow because these Eastern cataphracts, they need to charge as well to get a great advantage. They miss out on that advantage. I don't know if Macedon's going to win this. He's a bit outnumbered, but dang, he's just charging in. He doesn't care. He's like, YOLO, I'm going in. Like, yeah, YOLO means like maybe you shouldn't go in because of YOLO, you know? You know what I mean? But anyways, Roxolani still in a big cav brawl here with both Masageti and Parthia. But they have 2 melee cav against 2 Lancer cav. So they actually should come out on top. Even though they're getting hit by arrows, they should come out on top here. And again, unless the attackers send up some reinforcements, which honestly they desperately need to do. Because the defenders are going to win this engage. Yep, see, they broke them both. Now they're sending up some camels. Let's go. Parthia's got some camels. These armored camels look so ridiculous. They look so goofy, but at the same time, kind of terrifying. It just looks weird. This armor is goofy as hell. So they do break the victorious Roxolani there. They still have 1 more unit they have to take care of. And things are starting to slow down a little bit here. You can see that the attackers have taken control of the majority of this space. They are still dealing with some leftover defenders, which includes Macedon, some Apis companion cav, and also the Sarmatian horse. So they need to just clean them up, and then they've kind of taken control of this zone here, and they can begin the preparation of attacking these choke points. Now, they've also broken through here. The attackers have broken through as well. Royal Scythia, Parthia, they've pushed through, and it's going to be really interesting to see what happens here. Are they going to keep pursuing? Are they going to keep attacking? Looks like they are, because I mentioned that because the Armenians are on the flank here, and they could create some chaos if they pursue, if they attack the flank without the attackers realizing it. And here we go. Yeah, they are not being passive here. We've got Macedon. This is what the companion cav is known for, just holding the position. Again, they're not going to get a ton of kills, but they are going to hold for a long time, which is not good for the attackers. In this situation with all this cav, you want to create as many openings as you can so you can flank and maneuver your units as much as possible. So just holding them in this single choke point could be a bit of a meat grinder for them, and it could create some massive chaos. Here's a general, noble horse archers coming in from Roxolani. They're coming over to support, but they are getting singled out here by Royal Scythia. They've got their Scythian noble women. What the heck? Wait, honey, keep your mouth shut. You look like a trout, okay? Just see her with her mouth just wide open. Yeah, anyways. So that was an office line. Anyway, so if you didn't know, Scythian noble women, they're going to stay behind this building. Kind of gives them a little bit of protection as they fire. They're going after this short-range Javi, this Tarantine Cav. This is a short-range Javi unit. They're going to try to take him out from afar, which is smart. They're kind of countering their skirmishers with their own skirmishers. But they're supporting their companion cav. The Armenians are sending in some noble blood cav, another great melee cav. And guys, this is a meat grinder. This is like 2 heavy infantry fighting it out in a choke point. This is the horse equivalent, seeing all this melee cav. The Royal Scythians are doing pretty good, though. They just need to get a little extra support. Now, on the other side, same thing here. The Armenians are the ones initiating the defense, and they're going to use this choke point to try to hold back just a lot of cav, and they're using the archers to focus down the blobbing of the attackers. So we got some armored horse archers. These guys are pretty good. So they're going to let loose some arrows. That's really smart from the defenders. I like this move here. I really do. So right now, if we just get a bird's eye view of the fight, they're holding here and they're holding here. And what that's going to do is that it's going to make the attackers blob up and makes it easier for the archers to fire into that blob. So it's a great move, but they're kind of letting loose. They did not plug the gap properly, and Masageti, the attackers here, are going to be able to flank around and potentially charge some skirmish cav and wipe them out quickly. Let's see what happens. The general is falling back for Roxolani. And here we go. They're going, yeah, they're going to charge. But look at that. Classic Macedonian tactic there. Just the bravery, the pure, just the pure do not care kind of attitude from the Macedonians. They charge in their horse skirmishers to counter the Massagetti charge there. And now we've got a fight. And now we've got, oh no, that is so bad. The companion cav, they're going to encircle Massagetti's cav here. They need to get support. They are completely encircled. That was a great play. So maybe potentially they allowed the cav to sneak in just to set up a counterflank there and encircle Massagetti there. That was beautiful. Well done. And that is going to be a huge burden. A huge burden for the attackers. That's going to be tough to recover from. And this shock cav, I mean, this one has 143 kills though. So they're definitely not going out without kills. Like, they definitely got their fair share of kills. So that's good to see as well. Let's zoom back over this way where it looks like the defenses are also kind of thinning out over here as well. We've got the Armenians. They're kind of holding with Noble Blood Cav taking on the Scythian Royal Horse. I think they're going to lose that fight, even with the archer's support from Roxolani. So that's something they're going to be careful of. Now, the Armenians over here, they have a huge flanking force. They have yet to charge forward. They've yet to engage. And will they ever? I don't know. But it looks like Royal Scythia, one of the attackers, they are well prepared for this. In fact, he looks like he's going to initiate this, which is an interesting play. I mean, this might work out if he catches them by surprise. Scythian Royal Horse, very heavy melee cav. These guys are brutal. They're like the legionaries on the battlefield here, how heavy they are. And yeah, they take them on. Now, thankfully, the Armenians, they saw it coming and they countercharged. So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays. Parthia is sending over some support, some horse archers. It's interesting that they're focusing on that side. Back here, Royal Scythia is taking on Roxolani. The two-step factions battling it out. So cool. So cool. And then Massagetti has sent up some reserves. They're seeking revenge for their brave horsemen who got encircled and killed. And again, the companion cav showing their bronze, showing their wit as well, just being a wall of horses that cannot be passed. Oh man, I mean, did you expect a fight like this from these factions and these army comps? I mean, seriously, did you expect such a organized and tactical battle from all these horses? I honestly thought the players were it's just gonna lead to one big mosh pit of death. But that is certainly not the case. Not the case here. So Macedon charging in some companion cav again, really making it difficult. Look, breaking Parthia here, really making it difficult for the attackers to break through. Now, it does look really promising over here for Royal Scythia. They do have a decent force, but it's pretty depleted. They're going to need to they got reserves. They got to send in these reserves over here because they are making some headway. They're definitely making some ground here. They just got to defeat these Roxolani steppe horses. Now look at this. The balance of power is slightly in favor of the defenders. Now, what does that mean exactly? Well, it just means the attackers have quite the uphill climb to try to win this one. Can they win it? Absolutely, they can win it. They just need to pull off some good encirclements, surround a couple units, break them quickly. You never know what can happen in this battle. It could be anyone's game here. Now we got the General Massagetti. Is this... I think Massagetti... Why are you sending in the... I guess they have nothing else. But we really have a very patient, almost maybe too patient formation of units from Royal Scythia. They really need to get their units in the fight, but he might be just resting them, keeping them fresh, so when they do join the battle, they can completely overwhelm their forces. Here comes Parthia, though. They've got Eastern Cataphracts getting shot a little bit by the defenders, but they're going to charge in and get a decent flanking charge on this companion cav. Here we go. Are they going in? Not a great charge. I'm going to be honest. Not a great charge there. And now we have a counter charge by the Armenians. The Azat Knights. It's a very heavy melee cav. That's going to be a tough cav unit to break through, especially because the Eastern Cataphracts are more of a Lancer cav. But they do have maces and axes equipped, so they might be able to go toe-to-toe with these Azat Knights. Now we have the Parthian general moving up. Guys, it's starting to get desperate here in this battle. We're down to the last 7 minutes and 30 seconds of the fight. So, of course, generals are starting to see some frontline combat because they're getting down to the wire. Here comes, yes, Royal Scythia sending in Royal Horse. So they're going to get extra support here. A nice flank. Oh, man, they got to hurry up and say, the Massageti does not want to lose his general. Every man matters in this situation. And this is a pretty promising attack for the attackers. They've got the defenders kind of backs to the walls here. They've got them surrounded from two sides. They're not completely surrounded, but you know what I mean. And we've got an interesting spearhead attack by Royal Scythia. They got to take, honestly, the biggest threat here is the Azat Knights, the heavy melee cav. The Roxolani Royal Lancers, they're scary. They can be dangerous if they get good charges off, but in prolonged melee, I think the Royal Scythians can win this. Now here comes the Armenians. They are finally, it looks like they kind of initially broke through that little attack from the attackers here. And now they're pushing forward. And hopefully the Scythian Royal Horse can see this coming. Let's see. They're lining up for a charge. Guys, charging in this game, in this scenario is so key. But he doesn't see it coming. He doesn't see it. Oh, this is so bad for the attackers. If he lands, oh, he's right at the end there. But I don't think that was enough to counter the Armenian charge. So Royal Scythia kind of losing out on an opportunity there to counter that charge. But here we go. Let's see what we're down to, guys. Balance of power is pretty even. It's close, guys. We've got units, a decent amount of reserves for the attackers. Both sides kind of running out of extra troops. The Armenians, they are sending back these cataphracts. Now, remember, they were originally over here. They're moving them back because I think they're honestly concerned about the front line here. They're concerned that the attackers might push through. And I think that's also why he pushed forward these units over here. But Royal Scythia, they are surrounding this noble blood cav, and they need to kill it quickly if they want any chance of winning this battle. Any chance at all. So Royal Scythia has their fresh general here. They've lost 9 horses, but they've only gotten 1 kill, so that must have been from archer fire. But they are fresh. They're relatively a healthy unit considering, you know, this battle. And now they're going to, let's see what they're going to do here. Are they going to join the fight? It looks like they're just kind of waiting. Over here, it's pure chaos. Now we have a general from Roxolani. Roxolani is charging in their general. It's a noble horse archer unit. And at this point, they're just throwing in whatever they got. And it was funny, when I was playing this battle live, I was spectating it live, and someone in the comments said, man, the price for horses is going to skyrocket after this battle. And it's so true. There's going to be a limited supply of horses here because of all the dead horses. But yeah, I don't know. I had to throw that in. I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, now Parthia is breaking, so this is not looking great for the attackers on this side. They're going to need to send in more reinforcements. They do. Massageti has some horse archers, and it looks like the Royal Scythians, they also have a unit left, but they are about to get overwhelmed. And this is trouble. Oh, look at this. They've also sent in reinforcements here. The Armenians trying to get the Royal Scythian general, but the general is putting up a hell of a fight. And Parthia has their general on this side, and they're trying to quickly deal with the flanking force of the Armenians. It looks like they just have some horse archers they got to clear out really fast. Guys, this is going to be This is going to be so intense. This is coming down to the wire. The defenders are actually kind of pushing forward. They're pushing the flank. And Massagetti and all this Royal Scythian horse archers, they're probably just going to have to drop their bows, pick up their swords, and try to hold back this push by the attackers. And guys, I know it seems, I mean, look at the balance of power. It is even right now. It's anyone's game. This is insane how close this battle is. Noble horse archers from Parthia just letting loose some shots there into the general of the Armenians, trying to take out, you know, cut off the head of the snake, so to speak. And now we've got a small Scythian royal horse. They're going to cut them off. But this is huge because the general has engaged here. They have a chance of beating the Eastern Cataphracts. But the Parthians must hold. They must defend the flank of the general here. And they're leaving it open. If this Royal Scythian unit crumbles, we've got both the Macedonian general and the Armenian general. They're going to be able to flank around and destroy the progress of the Scythian noble horse. And it looks like it's too late. The Parthian general is way too far away. And now, yes, this is the crushing blow right here. This is tragic. And honestly, I don't want to say this too early, but this is probably the nail in the coffin. This was their best bet of winning this battle. And now that the Scythian general is surrounded, and the Parthians, they're desperately trying to get back there, but they got cut off. If I can speak, words are hard, by the companion cav. And now the Armenian generals just chewing them up as well. So, you know, now the balance of power is shifting drastically in favor of the defenders. And the Royal Scythian horse noble women, they are desperately fighting this horde here. I mean, they're putting up a decent fight. They've got pretty good numbers, but I don't think, I mean, yeah, it's going to be tough for them to hold. And yeah, we're at the final epic moments. Royal Scythia, they're sending in what they've got left, trying to save their general, but it's too late. And the defenders are going to take this one, guys. An absolute fantastic brawl. And are you not impressed with these players? I mean, all these players put up a great fight. There was a couple small mistakes here and there, but this is not what I expected with an all-horse battle. This is certainly not what I expected. So it was really cool to see such a tactical and chaotic yet organized battle. It was really, really fascinating to watch. Something I've never seen. The game's been out for over like 13 years, and I've never seen a battle like this. And it was really cool to see right here. So big props to all the players who took part in this. Here are all their names. I just want to give them a huge thank you. They're all great guys. None of them broke the rules, and they were such good sports, and they just wanted to put on a good show, and they certainly did. So props to both teams as well. It was so close. It could have been anyone's game, but a really good job by the Roxolani. Roxolani getting the most kills here. Look at the kills. It's actually a fairly even spread. This one has 122 kills. This one 102. It's a fairly even spread on all their units. So everybody kind of carried their weight for Roxolani. King of Kings going as the Armenians. He got the fourth most kills, I think. Getting some, again, pretty even spread. Nothing that really stands out. Pieman as the Macedonians. He didn't get a ton of kills, but remember, he's playing as that companion cav, and he was just kind of there to plug gaps. You know, he's just preventing any kind of flanking, and they did a good job of just keeping the enemy back. And then we go on the other side. We've got Parthia. Parthia getting the least amount. No, second to least. Second to least. But yeah, he had some struggles there. Unfortunately, these expensive camel cataphracts didn't get as many kills as he hopes. I mean, 86 isn't bad. 52 is a little low. It wasn't terrible. But also the artillery. I mean, remember, the artillery really is for the walls, so they're not really going to get a ton of kills. But it would have been cool if he got more kills with the artillery. We got Nikki here, and he's playing as the Armenians. He's got a pretty good Or I'm sorry, Massagetti. I'm sorry, Massagetti. They got similar colors as the Armenians. Again, look at these Saka cataphracts. Holy moly, they got tons of kills. They really carried the weight there. And then finally, we got Royal Scythia. They did a fantastic job. They put up a great fight. And again, pretty even spread, it looks like, for his units. So, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this battle. Please let me know if you have any ideas for fun scenario battles. It could be for any of the Total Wars. Maybe not Warhammer, but any of the good Total Wars. Let me know. Give me some scenario ideas, and I would love to just play them out and show you guys. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It means a lot, and I'll see you next time on the battlefield.